Welcome to Inside the 12. I'm Pete Sousa. This is the two-way player, King McClure. He did, contrary to popular belief, play a lot of defense.
I played a lot of defense, especially my senior year, because I learned that the more defense you play, the more minutes you'll get. So I had to buy into that side of things, and I did just that.
Didn't you have a game at Oklahoma State? You had like 7 threes, right?
I did, but I was guarding too. I was knocking it down and running back and getting stops. It was a combo of both sides of the floor.
3?
We love to see it.
3 and D. We do love to see it. We also love to see some midweek scores for the best conference in all the land. Here it is, the big one we're going to dig into moments from now. Kansas. The surprise victory at home against Iowa State. Not only were they able to upset them, but they beat them handily. You see BYU over TCU, Baylor in a must-win early in the season. They get it done. UCF continues to roll. Arizona, we'll talk about them shortly, and Texas Tech. King, what jumps off the board at you?
Well, I think it's two things. Number one, Baylor. The Baylor Bears finally got their first win in conference. And I think that's massive because they were on a stretch where they played Iowa State, they played Houston, and you go into the Oklahoma State environment in which, if you're not careful, this Oklahoma State team can beat you because they are better than what people expect from them. They are overseeding expectations, right? So I think that Baylor getting their first win is huge, but I also think this Kansas game, this Kansas and Iowa State game was absolutely massive.
Well, let me ask you, is that a loss that TJ Otzelberger, as much as you hate to lose, you can sort of step back and say, okay, what can we learn from this? He's definitely got their attention now. They've been knocked off the perch.
Well, I think the thing that we have to realize is it's hard to win in Allen. It is one of the hard, and trust me, I know people. I have never won there. I've never had success. It is hard to play in Allen Fieldhouse. Nonetheless, Iowa State in the past few years has actually been one of the few teams to have success. So I do think that they should be a little concerned.
Well, and that enables us to turn the page to Kansas. You know, who are these guys? Let's dig into that a little bit. You lose to UCF, you beat TCU in a miracle comeback, then you lose at West Virginia, but then you beat Iowa State. Is that still like an adjustment to Darren Peterson being in and out of the lineup? Makes sense of that offensive output for me.
Yeah, because I think part of it is you know Darren Peterson demands the ball. Darren Peterson's not really a guy who can play off the ball, maybe a little bit, but not too much. But I think it's twofold. I think on one hand, it's the ball is out of other guys' hands because the ball is in Darren Peterson's hands. But on the other side, it's Darren Peterson requires so much attention that he makes the game easier for everybody else. Because now there are two people on the basketball, all the eyes are now on Darren Peterson, so it makes it easier for a guy like Counsell to be able to go to work or Trey White to be able to go to work. So I think it's really twofold, but you don't really know until you gain more experience. And the way you gain more experience is by playing more games together. And the sample size isn't big enough for Kansas to really know who they are yet.
Regardless of who's in the lineup, how do they play against Baylor? Friday night on Fox in Allen Fieldhouse.
I think you just got to do what you always do. I think you have to stay true to who you are. Because I think that if Darren Peterson is healthy and he's playing, I think that everybody else around him just has to be able to pick their spots and not try to do too much. Right? Trey White is still learning because he's an older guy. He understands how to be effective no matter who's on the floor. So I think that that's a big part of it. Don't try to get out of your comfort zone. Do what you do. Do what you do best. Do what you specialize in. Get stops. And honestly, if I'm them, I am going to try to speed Baylor up because Baylor doesn't have a point guard.
Yeah, all right, let's get to Arizona. They certainly do have a point guard. They are now the undisputed #1 team in the country. I think one of the most interesting things about Arizona, and it maybe speaks to where college basketball is going, only 20% of their offense is coming from the three-point shot. They are playing old school bully ball with a bunch of guys who can jump out of the gym, right? But make sense of the three-point numbers for me. Just 20% of their offense?
Well, they're top 10. I want to say number 8. They're top 10 in the country. I think number 8 in height. So they're big, they're tall, they're physical, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, they're top 10 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. So not only are they taller than you, they're bigger than you, now they're going to bully you and push you underneath the rim so that they can get the offensive rebounding position. And it's interesting because when you see teams like this, Pete, you never have to worry about, is my shot on or is my shot off?
Yes.
How do we win if the shots aren't falling? This is what makes Arizona so dangerous. They don't have to worry about that. Because regardless if the shots are falling, regardless if they're not, They are going to go get second chance opportunities. They're going to run the pick and roll. The guards are going to get into the lane. They're going to make plays for the bigs and throw it down low so Awaka, so Krivas, so Koa Pete can go to work. And they're not worried about their threes. However, when they do shoot threes, they shoot it at almost a 40% clip. I think around 37. So
yeah, they're efficient.
This team is dangerous.
Yeah, they are efficient. And Mo Krivas, Koa Pete, those guys are scary. Now, we got a new sponsor, by the way, we're welcoming to the show.
We love sponsors.
We love sponsors, so we love you, New Era. We're going inside the game. This is brought to you by New Era. How is Arizona finding success without the three ball? Talk to me about this pick and roll. I mean, we see it constantly. Koa Pete and Del Orso.
Look at it. I mean, right now we're showing Del Orso, but Jaden Bradley can do this. Braden Burries can do this. The bigs of Arizona set such good screens that they are always open. The physicality, we keep talking about that. That is what they do. They're so physical, and then right here, just take a look. Look at the offensive rebound. Look at the pursuit of the basketball with Braden Burries on this offensive rebound. Woo. He is coming in full speed, great athlete, and he's physical as well. Same thing. Look at this right here. You better block out, but it's hard to because they're so physical, they're so big, and Krivas is athletic enough to put you on a poster if you are not paying attention. And that's what makes them dangerous. They can pick and roll you to death. The guards make good decisions, and when the shot goes up, you better turn around and block out. And even if you do block out, because they're so big, it makes it extremely difficult to fully seal off your block to alleviate them from getting the offensive rebound.
Arizona is like the best of all the worlds, right? Transfers, freshmen, returning players. We saw Mo Krivas, 7'2", 260. He put on about 15 pounds of muscle.
He looks good.
Yeah, the guy looks really good.
Yeah, he looks good. He's a problem. And like you take Awaka out, right? You have Awaka and Pete in. You take them out. You bring Krivas. Like you just have so many bigs. It's like, hey, when does this end?
Yeah.
When does this end? And it doesn't.
It's like a good NFL team. They have waves of defensive linemen that come in. You wouldn't know anything about that with the Cowboys. No. All right, let's check out our game-breaking plays.
Our teams are going to watch the Super Bowl from the same place.
Probably not together. Eagles and the Cowboys. Probably not together, but you're right. They'll all be home or on vacation. All right, here's the game-breaking plays. Let's change this topic. I'm salty already. Hell of a good. Thank you so much for the game-breaking plays. Hell of a good dip. Let's go. How about this? A.J. DeBonsa. It seems like he does this once a night. This was against TCU. He let this one go from right about his hip.
Man, look, but we have to show the opposite side. We show the highlight. Now we got to show the opposite side because DeBonsa comes down, but Okonkwo meets him at the rim, and thank God he got that block because he would have ended up on the wrong side of a SportsCenter Top 10 highlight.
Good for him, though. And how about Christian Anderson? Time winding down in the first half. Texas Tech would need all of the points, and Christian Anderson, a guy they've been able to count on every night, drains a three, which they could lean on late to win that game.
And you want to talk about lean on late to win a game. Marta Suarez for three. She calls game. Down by 2. It doesn't matter. I'm walking out of here with a dub in Morgantown.
Oh, TCU is very, very good on the women's side, and they are frisky on the men's side. Coming up next, we're a month away from Valentine's Day, but we got the flowers, King. We got the flowers. We're giving flowers to players you have to see this season. Coming back on Inside the 12 after this break. Welcome back to Inside the 12. We know sometimes people go to work and you come home at the end of the day and you're like, nobody cares, man. I just emptied the kitchen sink for this company, these people, and they don't care. We want to let these players in schools know we do care.
You're getting deep on this, huh?
No time like the present, right? That's why they call it the present. It's a gift, baby. Let's get deeper. All right, Terrence Brown is one of the guys playing for Utah this year that I have noticed myself, man, this dude deserves some respect and some attention. He's on a team right now that's 0-4. 8-9 overall, 0-4 in the conference. But what do you like about this guy?
I like his aggression. He is always aggressive every single time he steps on the floor. This man is a driver. He is attacking the rim with force, looking to go 100 miles an hour and get downhill. Great finisher. He's tough as nails. We love it. And sometimes he's a little reckless. But we love it. We love aggression in the Big 12 and on this show.
I have a feeling that Alex Jensen is going to do very well at Utah. And when he reaches the mountaintop, I do believe he'll be talking about guys like Terrence Brown, right, being a part of his first class at the school, and guys that really helped him change the culture. Hunter Uff at West Virginia, he's a bucket. And last year at a mid-major, I was like, okay, we'll see how he does in the Big 12. Dude, he's doing really well.
He is probably one of the most entertaining guys in this conference. If you have not gotten a chance to watch him play, please turn on the TV, because look at some of the shots that he can make. Like I know I'm a little crazy when I say this, but like he's the closest thing that we have. I'm probably gonna take some
say it, Steph.
He's the closest thing that we have in college basketball to Steph Curry. I mean, look at what he does. Look at some of the shots that he's been able to hit. He's second in the country in three-point attempts per game. And look at this. Just look at some of these. The game against Kansas when he hits the big and 1-3. Every game I've done of his, he's turned up in the second half and made the game entertaining. Now, granted, he's not the same player and he's not nearly as big as Steph Curry, but as far as entertainment value, my man is up there in college basketball.
When you couple his explosiveness and dynamic play and three-point shooting with the way that Ross Hodges' teams play defense, that makes, as Kansas has learned, any trip to Morgantown real scary.
It makes it extremely tough, and Ross Hodge has those guys rolling. But speaking of a coach that has his team rolling, Johnny Dawkins, the transformation from last year to this year. Let's please talk about UCF. And Pete, you are so high on this team.
I am.
You love this team. You got to see him up close and personal. Tell me what you like the most.
Well, first of all, I'm going to introduce Prisoner Pete, because I called the UCF game a few days ago. Okay. But boy, did I like what I saw. The best start in the Johnny Dawkins era. This team was ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2019. They've only been ranked in the top 25 6 times since 1969. That is a wild stat. But the reason they're doing so well this year, Riley Kugel, averaging almost 15 points a game. He played, obviously, at big schools like Florida and Ole Miss, and he averaged 9 points over the course of those 3 years. But this year at UCF, 15 points a game, he's a walking bucket. And the perfect guy in tandem with him is Themis Folks. Nobody like Themis Folks can see the floor and also scoot down the floor. He is downhill all the time, touching the paint, breaking down the defense. 7 assists a game, though, 7.3 now a game. That's 6 in all of college basketball. And you and I both got to pause and say, couldn't happen to a better dude. Johnny Dawkins, obviously, he's a tough dude and a great guy and a great coach. And, it's about time.
I think UCF has arguably the most underrated backcourt in the Big 12.
I would agree.
When you look at folks and when you look at Kugel and what they can do in that tandem, I really do think that this is one of the most underrated backcourts in the Big 12 that gets no love. But that's why we're here. Like Pete said, sometimes people feel like they don't care, so you just need flowers, and we're giving flowers, and UCF is a team that deserves their flowers.
All right, when we come back, we got Molly Miller coming up. We're talking about a movie script. If you've turned it in, the screenwriter might send it back, dude. This turnaround is unbelievable. We got the coach coming up next. Welcome back to Inside the 12. Pete Sousa with King McClure, and we are now joined by women's basketball royalty in 2026. Head coach of Arizona State, Molly Miller, joins us from Tempe. Just an amazing season for you so far, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love talking hoops, so.
Yeah, we love talking hoops, and we can't help but notice what you're doing out there and how amazing it is. I was talking to King earlier. I called a couple men's games out there last year, and no knock on the previous administration or coaching staff out there, but it was lifeless, right? It was kind of like a flat line when you go to a women's game. Now it's a total vibe, and everybody, not just in your area, but all over the country is talking about it. How did you generate a turnaround like this?
Well, I appreciate that. And when you're trying to revive something and you have so much passion, I think people see that passion and then there's a little buzz generated from that passion. So hopefully there's a little FOMO, you don't want to miss out on the build. And we want to open people with open arms and come be a part of our build. It's a fun brand. It's always been a fun brand to watch. Every stop I've had, we've had a really distinct brand of playing hard, being relentless on the defensive end, having really good character kids as a part of our program. So people can get on board with that.
Coach, you mentioned good character kids, right? You get to campus, you get to Arizona State, you don't really have a team, right? So you had to completely rebuild this roster, all right? We talk about roster construction. I feel like almost every coach is having to do this, but you had to do it times 2, right? Because you started from scratch. What went into the thought process of getting certain players, and how do you guys go about evaluating talent?
Yeah, we only have 3 returners from the last roster, and a lot of props to them. They've been great because they went through a transition that was maybe unexpected as well. But then when you're going to the portal, and those are more than quick fixes to me, we're laying the foundation of our program. And when I start this new chapter, I want to do it the right way. And although I want to win yesterday, I want to win tomorrow and in the future. So what that looks like is setting that foundation with great kids. So we were super diligent. I mean, obviously you got to be able to hoop a little bit, but you have to be able to buy in to this process, and this, whether good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to be different. What happened before is not going to happen in the future. So we hit in every area that we needed to hit in terms of character kids, in terms of kids that wanted to compete and had a chip on their shoulder, something to prove, in terms of kids that, it might be their last year, and so they wanted to be their best year, or they're going to help me build it for years to come. And we just had a good mix of that, and a lot of props goes to them. They're kind of a coach says jump, they say how high team. And so when you have that buy-in year one, it's just been a huge blessing. I'm very grateful for this group.
Well, you've made it work, right? I mean, you've got the people who are the type of players that can lead to a 16-2 start. Just an amazing, like we said, turnaround. How do you stick to your core values when you go from a mid-major like Grand Canyon, who you really put on the map on the women's basketball side, but now you're in the Big 12? How do you stay focused and stick to who you are while you accumulate talent on the roster?
Yeah, I mean, the recipe wins, and I've found that out at my different stops. So I want to be pretty convicted to who I am in terms of the brand. The brand transcends levels. It works. It frustrates teams. So from the get-go, you have to kind of establish, and I learned this as parenting. I always say this, I became a better coach when I became a mom, but you kind of have to establish your identity, and you can't take shortcuts. You can't waver from that. I think what kids need these days is reliability. They need direct and instant and very clear feedback. So I tried to give that to them from the get-go, and there's not waver from that. So how we coach our role player is the same how we're going to coach our All-American player, and we're going to uphold those standards, and it's going to be daily habits that build your culture, and that's going to look the same every single day.
Coach, you talk about having high expectations, and when you look ahead, all right, the expectation, you have a game against Kansas. They're coming to you Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, all right? You took a loss to TCU, and that happens, all right? That's only one of your 2 losses, all right? That happens. So this matchup against Kansas moving forward, what is your expectations in this game?
To get better. We've got to get better from the last one and then the last one, and we can never be satisfied. I think we're in a position where you're always going to have to bring your best game for the next one. And that's the mindset that our team has right now. This is a really good Kansas team, We can't look at their record. They might, in conference records, they're probably the best 1-5 team in the country, in terms of the conference record. So I think we've got to take this game like we've taken every game. This game could determine your fate. It could determine your fate in March, and that's how we've looked at every game. So we'll be ready. I think it's a good bounce back game for us. I'm happy we're finally at home again, but this is a very good team, a very well coached team. We're going to have to get back to our ways. I think we got on our heels a little bit at TCU, and we're used to putting teams on their heels. So we got to get back to that.
Hey, it is working on and off the floor. Arizona State women's basketball coach Molly Miller, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Molly Miller, there she goes, dude. One of the best in the business.
Best.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to break down the upcoming week of Big 12 basketball action on Inside the 12. Inside the 12 is brought to you by Hell of a Good Dip. Game on, dip in with Hell of a Good. Sounds cliche, but we got a hell of a good schedule coming up for you this weekend in the Big 12. And this is really I think a lot of teams who we consider to be perennial in this conference, they're going to have to suffer losses this weekend. Yeah. Look no further than Texas Tech BYU that we're going to break down.
That's probably the matchup of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, right there, you get A.J. DeBonta versus my guy J.T. Toppin and Christian Anderson. I mean, that Christian Anderson-Rob Wright matchup, the DeBonta, the J.T. Toppin matchup.
Yeah. All right, hold that thought. We're going to get to it. I don't want you. Let's not burn it off.
Oh, my bad.
I got to.
My bad, big dog.
All right, let's start right now with Iowa State at Cincinnati. Saturday, 2 p.m. on Peacock. Who you like there?
Iowa State for sure. I mean, Cincinnati is struggling, but Iowa State is a team that is looking to get their bounce back. They are looking to bounce back after that Kansas loss. So Iowa State is probably going to be a team I wouldn't want to see right now.
Let me tell you, I know what I'm doing at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. I'm watching King McClure. On the call, #1 Arizona at UCF. Yes. This is going to be a game where we learn who UCF is, and we find out just how good maybe Arizona is.
I think whoever dominates the glass, because both teams are great offensive rebounding. Whoever dominates the glass will win this game. I'm not giving you my pick. I'm doing the game. So whoever dominates the glass will be the winner. But UCF is no stranger to pulling off upsets at home. So we'll see. We will see. And I just did a Vanderbilt game where Texas beat Vanderbilt. Maybe I'm that guy, all right? So we'll see. We will see what happens.
All right, we move on now. This is the game we wanted to talk about. #11 BYU at #15 Texas Tech. Your boy, one of your former assistant coaches at Baylor, Grant McCasland. This is the biggest game for him this season, I would assume.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. DeBonta's going to walk into an arena in which that crowd is going to be nasty, filthy, and you better be prepared for what you're about to hear.
You think he's ready for it?
I think he is.
Yeah?
That young man is ages above his age. Wait, above his time, above his.
You
know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
you don't know what I meant.
Yeah, between the two of us, though, I can't figure it out either. But yeah, he's older than it would seem, more mature beyond his years.
He's mature beyond his years. My bad, that's that young man in me.
Arizona State and Houston. Look, man, what Houston did to West Virginia the other night after West Virginia's coming off that big win, they were suffocating against West Virginia. How does Arizona State try to get in rhythm against this team?
You pray. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. With the way that Kelvin Sampson in Houston is playing right now, you have to be able to at least take something away. And it's hard to take everything away, but you at least have to take Sharp away. And I think if you take Sharp away, you give yourself a better chance. But you gotta pray. Good.
Hopefully for Bobby Hurley and Arizona State, they can build off that really tight game against Arizona on Wednesday night. They felt like they found something there.
Yes.
So maybe they can move forward with it.
Maybe so, but I don't know.
For the great King McClure, I'm Pete Sousa. We will be back next week on Inside the 12. Make sure you watch our show in all of your local Big 12 markets and, of course, on the Big 12 Studios YouTube channel and on the Big 12's YouTube channel. That's all for today. We will see you next week.